I sell starch sausages outside a fancy private school, but got mistaken for a pervert by my regular customer's older brother. One day, the little girl texted me, "Pink starch sausages. Same time, same place." She sent an address and said she covered travel costs. Next day, I happily delivered to her door. Knocked on the mansion. A handsome guy stared at me. I sensed trouble and tried to run. "How dare you go after my little sister?" That guy grabbed my waist, his hand moving lower. "You little pervert, let me see how pink it is." After losing my job, I found a business opportunity, selling starch sausages. I set up my stall outside the city's only elite private school. $3 each, 3 for $10. High profits mean high risks. I often got chased away by security, parents, and the local vendors who controlled this turf, so I actively developed online customers. Cherryfish was my most loyal regular customer. She was the most spoiled little rich girl I'd ever seen. Her daily school rides were at least a Maybach, or better. Despite her young age, she'd already mastered that old money laugh. But after she became my customer, our transactions were like underground deals. Cherryfish said, "You can't message me first. After each message, delete all the records. If my brother catches you, you're dead. He'll spank you and it really hurts." I chuckled to myself. How long are her brother's arms to reach my butt? But I still followed the principle of avoiding unnecessary trouble. But recently, Cherryfish, who usually ordered every other day, hadn't contacted me. Bouncy starch sausages, check out my colorful selection. Sure enough, shortly after posting to my social media, Cherryfish messaged me, "Pink starch sausages." I typed quickly. I know the princess likes pink stuff, so my starch sausages are very pink and cute. Cherryfish went silent, but kept showing typing. After waiting forever, Cherryfish finally sent, "My mom knows about you. She asked if you have any diseases." Rich people are really cautious, but I came prepared. I got my health certificate before I dared to start selling. I immediately replied, "Very healthy. Very healthy, kaha." I searched through my desk drawer for the health certificate. When I came back, she'd sent an angry emoji. Cherryfish said, "I don't want to know besides me. How many other people have tried your business?" I immediately declared my loyalty. Others don't understand pink starch sausages. Only you truly get it. I put down my phone and sighed. I get it. Kids are possessive about their favorite treats. Because I was the same way as a kid. I once hid a lychee scented young master in my house for a whole week. That was when I was in first grade. Some businessman brought his 13-year-old son to our school for a visit. That spoiled young master had a fight with his dad and got left behind when his dad drove off in anger. I secretly heard the teacher say, "That businessman had dozens of sons like that. This one who got left behind was actually lucky." Before this, son got taken to sea to feed the sharks. Other kids were scared of being fed to sharks and wouldn't talk to him. I secretly took him home without telling anyone. When he handed me a red envelope, I smelled lychee candy on his hands. When mom was still alive, she used to eat lychee candy often. The young master denied it. "I don't eat lychee candy." "Then why do you smell like lychees?" At that, the young master showed extreme disgust, took off his white shirt, and threw it over my head. "If you like this smell, then smell it all you want. Let me stay in your dump for 7 days. The young master never told me his name. After 7 days, he vanished without a trace. There was something in this world called cologne. I looked toward the plastic wardrobe in the corner. Among a pile of cheap clothes hung a gleaming white designer shirt. My screen lit up. Cherryfish messaged again. "Don't leave after school tomorrow. I'll come find you." Successfully winning back a potentially lost big customer made me so happy I rolled around on the bed. Even when I rolled onto my previously broken ribs, it didn't hurt anymore. I studied English on Duolingo for a bit, then went to sleep happily. The next morning, I saw a message from Hua, my old nightclub buddy. "Xiao Zhao, you're screwed. I heard from Brother Shu Yu. Someone paid to have you beaten up. Are you selling starch sausages at Yinghua Elementary? Don't go there anymore." I immediately sent back ? Ever since getting fired from the nightclub, I've kept a low profile. How could I have offended anyone? Ha got fired with me. But he found Brother Shu Yu in the underworld, clipped his wings, and became a kept boy. Hua didn't reply until noon. Clearly living the high life. Spring nights are short. Sleeping in late. Hua said, "Who knows what's going on? These rich people are always weird. Always coming up with random stuff. In the gray zone. Beating people up doesn't need a reason. After graduation, my dad sold me to a club to pay his debts. At first I just served drinks, opened bottles, occasionally got my waist grabbed. But gradually things escalated to worse situations." But Hua said it wasn't because I was good at talking, but because my mouth was on a very trustworthy looking face. Later new people came in, and the manager finally got tired of my low profits. Sent me to the nightclub to sit on laps and sing. Some drunk guy wanted to take me away. He instantly flew into a rage. After work that night, I got cornered in an alley and beaten up. After I healed, I heard that guy got in a car accident and was paralyzed. From then on, I never got harassed inappropriately again. Until the family's young master came to inspect the place. One sentence, my nightclub isn't a farmer's market. Don't need so many chickens and ducks. And I got fired. I completely left that world of neon lights and booze and started selling starch sausages. I really value my life. Out of respect for my life, I stayed holed up in my apartment all day. The next evening, Cherryfish messaged, "Where are you?" Cherryfish, why aren't you out selling? Cherryfish, you actually believe in that stuff? Cherryfish typed very fast, kind of aggressively. Probably really annoyed that I stood her up. I could only grovel for forgiveness. People in our business are a bit superstitious. Sorry about that. I'll go tomorrow. I'll treat you to fancy carved pink starch sausages, okay? Cherryfish was quiet for a moment, then sent an address. Just deliver it here. No one's home tomorrow. I'll cover your travel costs. I immediately agreed happily. I copied the address into my map app, and it showed housing prices of over 100,000 per square meter. Holy crap, this little rich girl is even more untouchable. The next day, I took 2 buses, then grabbed a shared bike, planning to lie and say I took a taxi. She's so rich. What's wrong with me skimming a little, standing in front of that massive estate villa? My ambitious plans to overcharge got forcibly suppressed. I was getting scared. I felt like if something happened in this place, I wouldn't even be able to run away. But I still forced myself to go forward. The little rich girl seemed to have told the gate security about me. The guard's face showed no extra expression, professionally led me inside. With only seen in wealthy family, soap opera was up before me. Glass greenhouse, rose garden, tennis court, horse track. My mind automatically matched them with plot scenarios. Affairs in the greenhouse, murders under the roses, violence on the court, dragging behind horses. I patted my chest. Breathe. Calm down. Luckily today, I'm just a delivery guy. The guard brought me to a castle-style villa, then silently disappeared. When the villa door opened, I instinctively looked down, because the little girl usually only came up to my waist, but the expected little girl didn't appear. Instead, I saw a pair of long, white, straight, muscular legs. The person wore a bathrobe, chest half open showing solid 6-pack abs. Before I could see his face, the guy exploded. "You little pervert, where exactly are you looking?" If I had an alarm clock that warned of impending death, it would be ringing itself hoarse right now. I stepped back and stammered, "Would you believe me if I said I got the wrong address?" This man's voice sounded very young. Could this be the legendary brother who spanks really hard? Delivering junk food to a wealthy little princess, then getting called by her family? What do? I couldn't help but look inside, hoping the little girl could come save me. The guy grabbed my chin to stop me from looking around. His hand was so big it could almost cover my whole face, so I had to look at him. What I saw was a masterpiece. Like the god is showing off, even the coldest person would swallow seeing this face. I swallowed too. Then the guy gripped me tight, speaking word by word through gritted teeth. "I call you a pervert and you're getting excited." I gurgled incoherently that there must be some misunderstanding. Drool dripped onto his artistically beautiful fingers. When he let go in disgust, I turned to run. Yeah, right. I stood in the entryway, watching helplessly as that big door automatically closed. More automatic than a horror movie. Plus, some cold wind was making my one abs feel chilly. I looked down. My shirt hem was rolled up high. The guy was using my shirt fabric to slowly and methodically wipe each finger, treating it like a silk handkerchief. After he finished wiping, I tried to struggle, but he gripped my waist hard again. I was pulled to a dangerous distance, close enough to count his thick eyelashes. The soft flesh at my waist was being rubbed. His refined voice made the atmosphere both seductive and dangerous. "Where's your pink starch sausage? Let me see how pink it is." His hand slowly slid down, cold against my skin. My voice went dry with panic. "No wait, dude, there's definitely some misunderstanding here. I don't sell that." The man finally let go, just as I sighed in relief. He threw a stack of papers from the table at me. "What misunderstanding could there be? Your old haunts got raided, so now you're looking for new hunting grounds. Shameless enough to target innocent kids like my sister." White papers fluttered down like huge snowflakes. Clearly light things, but somehow felt heavy hitting the ground. My gaze was dazed. It took a while for my eyes to focus on the black text scattered around me, so my past in the gray zones could be so easily written down on white paper. I was even thinking about picking up my high school knowledge, retaking the college entrance, and starting fresh somewhere no one knew me. But now, even selling starch sausages wasn't clean anymore. My silence seemed to confirm his suspicions. Soon someone in a white coat arrived. The man coldly ordered the white coat, "Dr. Zhao, castrate him." I realized he wasn't joking. He really was going to castrate me. The strong smell of disinfectant from the doctor made me sick. I was terrified beyond belief, and shamelessly fell to my knees begging for mercy. "I didn't do anything. Please let me go. I'll stay far away from your sister from now on." My hand shaking, I opened the thermos that had fallen beside me. The rich smell of starch sausages filled the air. With tears in my eyes, I showed them like a street performer, pulling out props. I just sell starch sausages. I'm not a pervert. The man opened my hand. Still protected to the parent group chat saying that pedophile near the elementary school was disguised as a street vendor and got kids' contact info to harass them. The whole time the doctor stayed silent, opened his surgical kit on his own, and skillfully prepped his tools. I banged on the door and windows, but nothing I did worked. The door wouldn't open, so I scrambled to hide in a corner. But where could I possibly hide? Soon enough, the man grabbed me by the throat and dragged me out. He seemed to know some kind of restraint techniques. All my struggles were useless. He pinned me down hard. My face was buried in the soft wool carpet, and I felt a chill down below as my pants were yanked down to my ankles. The man gave me 2 hard smacks on the butt, without holding back. My butt stung like hell and tears streamed down my face. He suddenly grabbed my hair and forced me to look up at him. When our eyes met, I saw not just disgust in his eyes, like he was looking at garbage, but also shock. He frowned me. Why are you crying? The tears were silent, but flowed even harder. My chest heaved violently as I took deep breaths, but held back from letting out any sobs. I bit my lower lip until it bled and tasted blood in my throat. I didn't dare look at him, turning away and repeating over and over, I'm not a pedophile. I never hurt any children. Just then, the man's phone on the coffee table started buzzing. As soon as he let go of me, I immediately shrank back into the corner, pulled up my pants, and hugged my knees while shaking. In a daze, I was back to that night when someone pinned me down in a filthy alley and broke 3 of my ribs. The room was quiet, so the phone call came through clearly. Mr. Yu, we found out the truth. There's no pedophile. Just one vendor who was mad at another for stealing business, so he spread rumors. The doctor paused his prep work and asked quietly, Mr. Yu, should we continue with the procedure? The man said nothing. Any normal person wrongly accused of being a pervert and getting their butt smacked would be furious right now. But I knew it was too hard for these powerful people to admit they were wrong. I was also scared of these rich and powerful guys and just wanted to get as far away as possible. I could only swallow my hatred and take all the blame. It's my fault. I said misleading things. That made you misunderstand. Can you let me go now? The man didn't answer, but a girl's voice came from outside the door. Big brother, I'm back. Hey, why'd you lock the door? She banged on the door loudly. Don't be mad at me, big brother. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gotten revenge by throwing cat poop on you. So that's why this guy was wearing a bathrobe this morning. His sister had thrown cat poop all over him, so he had to shower. Nice job, little girl. I felt totally satisfied, like I'd gotten my revenge. The man opened the door, and the little girl shot him like a cannonball, then suddenly saw me, and her eyes lit up. Big brother, why are you here? Oh no, why are you crying? Did my brother hit you? She glared fiercely at the man, and protectively stood in front of me. Yu Zhengye, I'm the one who wanted the starch sausage, so come at me if you're mad. Don't bully big brother. Yu Zhengye rubbed his temples. Yu Tao, go to your room. Yu Tao then noticed the 2 starch sausages that had been knocked to the floor earlier and yelled, Yu Zhengye, what's wrong with you now? I didn't want to get involved in this rich family drama and tried to sneak away quietly, but Yu Zhengye spoke up again. Hand over your phone. I obediently unlocked my phone and gave it to him. Yu Zhengye deleted Yu Tao's contact info from my phone as expected. Then he searched and added someone. Yu Tao was furious. Why'd you delete it? I'm adding myself, so only officials can eat starch sausage, but regular people can't. Yu Zhengye showed no guilt about his bad behavior. You tell me, do you remember how many times you got food poisoning this year? Yu Tao argued back, it wasn't necessarily the starch sausage. It could have been tiramisu, blood glutinous rice, mango sago, fried skewers, or duck products. Yu Zhengye landed a basic attack, and Yu Tao immediately used her ultimate move. Yu Zhengye handed my phone back. You can go now. Sorry about today. Damn rich people. Do they think a simple sorry fixes everything? My phone notification chimed. When I opened it, my eyes nearly popped out. How much? And how many zeros? I checked over and over. How Yu Zhengye had transferred me 200,000 with a note saying, apology. I took that 200 grand, quickly packed my stuff, and planned to leave the city. I knew this money wasn't really an apology. It was clearly a warning to stay away from Yu Tao. With this money, I could focus on studying for at least a year. Yu Zhengye might be twisted, but he'd accidentally helped me twice. First time was getting me fired from the nightclub. Second time was giving me a huge chunk of survival money. I rented a small place in the next city and signed up for the cheapest prep class. Who would have thought that after everything I'd been through, I was still only 19. Back in high school, my grades weren't amazing, but I wasn't at the bottom either. But during those 2 exam days, Dad got in trouble, and I got dragged away right after leaving the test. Now Dad's nowhere to be found. Completely missing. I don't want to see him anyway. But most of the time in this world, things don't go as planned. One day while I was battling function problems, I got a call from an unknown number. Dad's panicked and terrified voice came through the line. Chen Zayao, son, save your dad, he wants me dead. If it's a real emergency, you should call 90 Yawen. Not me. The black pen stopped on the scratch paper, bleeding a big dirty ink blot. I listened to the frantic breathing on the other end, but couldn't bring myself to hang up. My mom abandoned us both a long time ago. All these years, I knew she was doing well in the next province, so I never bothered her. Before Chen Yi became a worthless gambling addict, he was a good dad. When I was little and couldn't walk past the toy egg displays, he'd bite the bullet and buy me those expensive little treats, skipping a meal himself. We were too poor to go to amusement parks, so he'd put me on his shoulders for piggyback rides, even when I was in high school and he was drowning in debt. He never told me. Didn't want to mess with my exam prep. I steadied myself. Who is he? Why does he want you dead? The other aunt went quiet and evasive. Just kept saying, can't call the police. Can't call the police. I sighed. I have 180,000. How much do you owe? Is that enough? Suddenly there was a scream from the phone. After some chaotic fighting sounds, someone seemed to pick up the dropped phone. A strange but cultured voice came through. Kid, your dad owes 2 million. 180,000 isn't enough. That astronomical number made my mind go blank. The cultured voice continued. Chen Yi, this is such a huge amount. Don't make things hard for the kid. Just do as you're told, and the debt will be settled soon. Chen Yi's voice sounded close to a breakdown. No, I'll die. Chen Yi was always optimistic. I'd never seen him this desperately hopeless. The call was hung up in the chaos. I felt cold all over. My fingers scrolled randomly through my contact list, up and down, then down and up. Most were classmates living carefree college lives. A few were bosses I'd met selling drinks, who made me sick. There were also some rich kids I'd added before, but I couldn't ask them for help. I had to contact Hua. Hua, do you know any way to make money fast? It was evening, Hua's active time, so he immediately video called me. The guy who used to wear heavy makeup had washed his face clean and looked fresh, but Hua's voice was seductively hoarse. Little Zhao, didn't you get out of that life? Why do you suddenly need money? My family got in trouble again, but I can't just ignore him. Hua and I were in the same boat, looking at me sympathetically. Have you tried the young master? Huh. He laughed. Still playing dumb. The Yu family young master was asking around about you recently, had all the hidden cameras and surveillance from the nightclub deleted. He really cared. Yu Zhangye looked me up to beat me up, and probably deleted stuff so I wouldn't corrupt his sister. I knew they misunderstood and waved my hands frantically. How could I reach someone that high up? High up people stand that high so you can reach them. Ha said matter of factly, and even managed to steal a kiss with some sugar daddy while talking to me. Little Zhao, listen to me. What seems like a big deal to you means nothing to those people. Hua pointed me toward a dead end, so I could only smile bitterly. Just when I was about to contact my old nightclub manager, an account that had been inactive for ages sent me a message. Yeah, don't get involved with Chen Yi's situation. Yeah, the person he crossed won't hurt him. This whole thing is between those two, and has nothing to do with you. How does even Yu Zhangye know about this mess? Is she the one behind it all? I popped a lychee candy in my mouth, and crunched it up, my mind all over the place. I casually replied, then what am I supposed to do? And Yu Zhangye replied like an old father with 4 words, focus on studying. I laughed angrily. Try having your dad kidnapped and extorted. I realized I was being a bit bold after sending it. This was the same guy who tricked me to his estate and nearly drowned me. I was about to delete it when Yu Zhangye's message came through. That piece of trash would be better off dead. Without him, your life could have been smooth sailing. I replied, what he does is his business. What I do is mine. I just don't want to regret anything. Yu Zhangye never replied again. I can't just look out for myself. People are the sum of all social relationships. Oh, Marx was right. Because while I was out getting takeout that evening, someone covered my mouth and shoved me into a van. The van's destination looked painfully familiar. The nightclub where I used to work. Pushing through those golden doors, several big guys escorted me to the highest, MVP room. The room wasn't full of chaos and debauchery. Under the dim lights, just one person sat quietly drinking alone. He was about 40, well-maintained, with sharp features, the kind of superior bone structure that gets better with age. He handed me a drink, his voice gentle. Chen Zhao, does this place look familiar? That voice was exactly the same as the one that kept interfering during Chen Yi's call to me. I kept one hand in my pocket, looking calm, but ready to call the police at any moment. I can give you the 2 million. But your way of inviting me here is pretty disrespectful. The old fox smiled, fine lines crinkling attractively at his eyes. Do you know why no one dared touch you before? He answered his own question, meaningfully. Because your father asked me to protect you. Maybe my shocked expression was too obvious. Because he laughed out loud. Don't look at me like that. We're family now. Chen Zhao, from now on I'm your father. My name is Jing Lanting. The old fox raised his glass to me. I felt completely hopeless. My unreliable dad had sold me out again. This time to this old fox as a son. And the old fox clearly didn't think much of me, looking me over like I was just a bargaining chip. I laughed bitterly and asked a pointless question. Can I refuse? Zheng Lanting was about to say something when his face turned slightly, drawn to a commotion at the door. I followed his gaze. The manager obsequiously opened the door. Yu Zhangye stood there in a suit, smiling without warmth. What brings Uncle Jiang here? I hope my staff didn't upset you. Zhang Lanting acted like he didn't notice the hostility in you, let out an authentic old money laugh. Zhengya, come sit. Yu Zhangya paused for a moment, then strode over with his long legs. He sat down next to me. Zheng Lanting poured him a drink and clinked glasses with a crisp sound. Zhengya, you're more skilled at management than your father, and more decisive among your 46 siblings. I actually admire you the most. I was a bit shocked. I thought Yu Zhengya only had one sister, Yu Tao. I didn't expect his dad to be such a breeder. He's like a modern day emperor. After they exchanged pleasantries, Zhang Lanting brought me up. I don't have an heir. Bringing Chen Zhao into the Zheng family means I plan to groom him. If you don't mind, you could mentor him. Yu Zhangye didn't refuse. It would be my honor. The two men clinked glasses like they just sealed some deal. The tense atmosphere melted away. When Zhang Lanting got up to leave, he clearly had no intention of taking me with him. I couldn't help asking, what about Chen Yi? Can you let him go? Lanting remembered something and smiled like he was indulging a mischievous kitten. He broke several antiques from my collection at my house. Now he owes way more than 2 million. After Zhang Lanting left, I stared blankly at the door. What the hell just happened? I honestly didn't get it. I felt like some cheap commodity, getting passed around in just a few sentences. Yu Zhengya put it simply, you're rich now. Huh. As the heir to Zheng Corporation, you can inherit everything from Zhang Lanting. Why? He's taken a liking to your dad, Chen Yi. I was even more stunned. Yu Zhengya looked at me and slipped the candy into my hand. He chuckled softly. Lucky little guy. I looked down and saw the red wrapper. What a coincidence. It was lychee flavored. Zhang Lanting placed me with the Yu family for Yu Zhengya to show me the ropes. I originally had some bad feelings about Yu Zhengya and didn't want to spend an extra second with him. Turns out, Yu Zhengya acts more like a father than my actual dad. He's only 7 years older than me. He hired 6 tutors for me and watches over my studies all day long. Yu Tao and I are the same, two trapped souls in this huge estate. Yu Tao finished her piano practice and ran to my room. Big brother, why aren't you done with homework yet? I wanted to cry. Elementary school pressure and high school pressure aren't even in the same league. The tutor preparing lesson plans nearby disapproved and said to Yu Tao, Mr. Chen is taking a practice exam. There are 63 minutes left. Please don't disturb him. Yu Tao, wise beyond her years, patted my shoulder. I just want to get into a regular college and earn 4,000 or 5,000 a month, living an ordinary life. Later you'll have to go to Ivy League schools and all that. When the practice exam ended, the teacher graded my paper. Just then Yu Zhangye came home from work and walked in. How did the exam go today? He skipped over me and asked the tutor directly. It's not completely hopeless. I breathed a sigh of relief. Yu Zhangye had said before that if I didn't improve, he'd resort to special measures if necessary. Yu Tao said Yu Zhangye has a cold, icy ruler that hurts like hell when he hits you. The tutor piped up and quietly left. That's when I noticed Yu Zhangye looked really unhappy. I could see the lingering redness on his perfect face. I got a bit angry, like someone had messed with my action figure. Someone hit your face? Yeah, the old man hit me. But he won't be arrogant much longer. You're so outstanding and he still hits you. The Yu family hair position isn't just mine to take. Any of my dozens of brothers could sit in it. Yu Zhengye took out a candy and slowly unwrapped it. The lychee scent drifted into my nose. Yu Tao and my mother was the 14th concubine. Nothing special about her. There was a time when the old man's first wife really liked me, so he often kept me by his side. When I was 13, I told the old man I didn't like what the first wife was doing to me. She was still his important ally then. He got angry and told me to get lost, never come home again. This plot sounds so familiar. I opened my eyes wide and looked Yu Zhangye up and down in disbelief. You're the young master from back then? Yu Zhangye squinted his eyes in displeasure. You're just realizing this now. I was only in first grade then. I don't remember what he looked like. I don't believe he could recognize me without doing some research. So when did you recognize me? Sure enough, Yu Zhangye didn't answer. I joked, since you're the young master from back then, your love for lychee candy wouldn't be because of me, would it? Yu Zhangye jumped up like a cat whose tail got stepped on. His ears turned bright red. That's adult business. Kids shouldn't pry. From his reaction, I knew that joke went too far. However mature and shrewd Yu Zhangye is in other areas, that's how naive he is when it comes to feelings. His complicated family made his understanding of intimate relationships very simple. Either you love or you don't. So he can't understand my complicated feelings toward Chen Yi. So he doesn't bother hiding his special feelings from me. Why does he know everything about Chen Yi and tip me off at the right time? Why does he show up just in time at places he wouldn't personally visit for months? Why would he agree to mentor someone else's hair? I'm not completely indifferent to him. That's why I'm afraid of getting too involved with him. It might shake my resolve to leave. I never believed Zhang Lanting truly sees me as his heir. In his eyes, I'm just a chess piece kept under his watch to threaten Chen Yi with. Zhang Lanting allows me to video call Chen Yi once a week. Every time I call, Chen Yi looks a bit more haggard than the last time. I asked him, aren't you happy? Chen Yi forced a smile. No. Dad's just sick. How are you? Getting along at the Yu family? Pretty good. Chen Yi nodded. Did Yu Zhangye ever live at our place? I have a good impression of him. You wouldn't sleep when you were little. He was the one who put you to bed that whole week. Haha, I was speechless. Zhang Lanting's voice came from the other end of Chen Yi. Time's up. Chen Yi said weakly, sorry. I wanted to talk to my son a bit longer. I haven't talked to anyone else in a week. Zhang Lanting hung up directly, showing Chen Yi with actions that it wasn't allowed. The next day, Yu Zhangye had the driver take me to a private hospital. He said Chen Yi jumped off a building. 3 floors isn't that high, but it's still high enough to potentially kill someone. Chen Yi was lucky tree branches broke his fall. He only got minor injuries. When I arrived, Zhang Lanting was smoking outside the hospital room. His deep-set eyes looked very melancholy. I awkwardly greeted him. Uncle Zhang, after you finish your college entrance exams, I'll hold an adoption ceremony. You'll have to change how you address me then. Understand? I clenched my fists. Change how I address you. Call someone who drove my biological father to jump off a building, Dad. I ultimately didn't have the courage or power to confront him directly. Got it. How's my dad? Go on in. He just woke up. Watch what you say. The first thing Chen Yi said when he saw me was, Cao Zhao, if you can get away, do it fast. Don't get tangled up with these people. We're not the same kind as them. I'm doing pretty well. Why would I leave? While saying this, I quietly pointed at the camera in the corner, glowing red. Don't expect me to take you with me. I don't want to go back to a childhood with no money, no mom, and having to hide everywhere with you. Chen Yi is really stupid. He couldn't understand my gestures and thought I was telling the truth. He actually broke down crying. Dong Lanting immediately pushed the door open and didn't even look at me. Get out! Walking into the hallway, I realized the busy Yu Zhangye had also come. I suddenly really wanted to know what he thought about this. Say, hypothetically, if you fell for someone, but that person had no feelings for you, would you push them to this point? Yo. Zhangye glanced into the hospital room through the window. He said seriously, I never thought forcing someone was love. I never told anyone about what happened when I was little. What the first wife did to me. She was a pedophile. She would undress me, touch my body, put me in the bathtub and scrub until my skin wrinkled. Or she was always hugging me. When you said I smelled like lychee candy, that was her favorite perfume scent. The more she loved me like that, the more I hated her. I couldn't imagine how tightly he was held. For his clothes to be stained with perfume that wouldn't fade for 2 or 3 days. No wonder Yu Zhangye became so scary when he learned his sister might have the same experience as him. I felt a bit sad. Sorry, I didn't know about these things. Yu Zhangye said, you don't need to apologize. She's dead. He got a bit emotional recalling this period. He waited a while before calming down. But I don't think the person I like has no feelings for me. When Yu Zhangye said this, he was deep, confident, and devastatingly charming. He was looking at me, seemingly waiting for my response. I laughed it off. True, you're handsome and loaded. Few girls could refuse you. Yu Zhangye immediately asked, what about you? I pretended not to hear. What? Yu Zhangye pulled back his feelers. Because of what happened when I was little, I'm not interested in women anymore. Do you think men would reject me? That depends on the person. Like me, I don't care about looks or money. Yu Zhangye's eyes dimmed. My conscience was killing me. Truth is, I'm totally shallow and money-loving. But Yu Zhangye is too expensive. I really can't afford him. It's like when I was little shopping at the supermarket. I'd stop in front of expensive snacks. I'd have to skip a meal to afford it. Someone as expensive as Yu Zhangye would probably cost me everything to have. I'm afraid of pain and value my life. Chen Yi was discharged quickly. But the result of his resistance was Zhang Lanting agreeing to change the weekly video calls to daily ones. I prepared for college entrance exams while dealing with the incredibly boring Chen Yi. In June, I finished my last exam and walked out of the test center. Under envious stares, I got into a Maybach and left. Once upon a time, when I was selling corn dogs outside the private school, I used to look up at those rich kids the same way. The adoption ceremony Zhang Lanting promised was scheduled for the next day. That evening, Yu Zhangye took me out to celebrate finishing my exams. In the car, Yu Zhangye kept staring at the flowers in my arms. Who's that girl? I don't even know her. We just added each other on WeChat. I just heard her reciting a formula wrong before the exam and corrected her. After the exam, she shoved this huge bouquet into my arms with a red face and asked for my contact info. I said on purpose, I don't know her now, but that's fine. I'll get to know her after for a few days. Yu Zhangye said coldly, you and her won't work out. Stop flirting. How do you know it won't work before it even starts? You're the heir to the Zheng family. Your marriage is tied to the Zheng family business. You can't just do whatever you want. Is your marriage the same? A shadow crossed Yu Zhangye's eyes. Of course not. The old man won't be able to control me much longer. But Zhang Lanting can control you. You understand that? Of course I understand. You know Zhang Lanting has never really looked at me. This hair thing is probably just for show anyway. I don't want him controlling me. Yu Zhangye, can you help me? I gently took his hand. The person I like and I can never legally marry. I don't want to be with someone I don't love. Big brother, do you understand that? My hint was practically explicit. Yu Zhangye instinctively tried to pull his hand back, but when I actually let go, he immediately stopped. The next day at the Zheng family's grand recognition banquet, Zheng Lanting made a huge fool of himself. The son he wanted to acknowledge was knowing, and the lover he'd spent over a decade scheming to win had also run off. Zheng Lanting was furious and demanded a thorough investigation into who had interfered. He didn't suspect Yu Zhangye, because Yu Zhangye also looked like his wife had run away. Yu Zhangye put us up in a suburban apartment, thinking we were accomplices, but he never expected I'd scheme against him too, just like all CEO novels. He also had a mom who'd write checks at the drop of a hat. I didn't want the check, just a promise. Yu Zhangye's mom sent Chen-Yi and me abroad. She lived overseas with old master Yu year-round, practically becoming a local insider. Wherever she trusted, Yu Zhangye would never find us. Chen-Yi and I settled down in a quiet little town. Chen-Yi worked as a cashier at a Chinese supermarket, and I went to do nails for people. To keep Chen-Yi from gambling again, I took away his smartphone and only gave him a little pocket money each day. I didn't ask about his drama with Zheng Lanting, because those intense memories were now an ocean away and didn't matter anymore. His skinny body gradually put on some weight, and he smiled more often. He's not too bright, couldn't learn English after trying forever, so I wasn't worried about him getting corrupted by bad influences abroad, though sometimes I'd regret it. Giving up the high scores I'd worked so hard for, giving up the chance to be a rich kid, giving up my model, face boyfriend. But nothing's more important than living free and happy. That's what Chen-Yi taught me when I was little. His entanglement with Zheng Lanting seemed to go way back. After mom left when I was small, Chen-Yi kept moving us around. Also, Yu Zhangye had complained to me before. He said he'd gone back to the house where I took him in, but couldn't find us anymore. We could never save up money, because every time we left it was rushed, and we couldn't take much with us. Don't think it's wasteful. When you're attached to things on the ground, you can't fly. That's what Chen-Yi always told me, so I had nothing to regret. A year later, because customers liked me, my boss sent me to work at the main store in the big city. I didn't bring Chen-Yi along, afraid he'd pick up bad habits and cause me trouble again. While doing nails, I chat with customers. Xiao Zhao, you really don't have a boyfriend. International student, Qiao Ting winked at me. I could set you up. Living alone is so lonely. I was bummed out. Do I look that gay? Why does everyone want to set me up with guys? Qiao Ting stared at me in shock. You're not? So many girls have asked you out, but you never said yes. I get it now. You must have had something good before. So your standards got higher, right? Height? That's true. I've never seen a guy better looking than Yu Zhangye. Haven't had that wow feeling in ages. And when I see women, I sadly realize I naturally think of them as sisters now. Qiao Ting noticed I'd stopped working and teased me with a laugh. What did your ex look like? Now I'm really curious. Looked like a figurine, gorgeous everywhere. Often on TV, seemed really popular. 7 years older than me. Kinda controlling, but really careful and clueless about relationships. Qiao Ting's mouth dropped open. Wasn't some A-list actress, was it? I think you really liked her. Did she dump you? Our backgrounds were too different. We were never gonna be happy. Qiao Ting could tell I didn't want to talk about it. So she invited me to an international student party that night. I went with the pure intention of networking with clients, but running into Hua at that party was totally unexpected. After going abroad, I canceled my old phone number and WeChat, cutting ties with everyone I knew back home. Hua had clearly become the party queen. That innocent little flower act from our video calls seemed like a flash in the pan, never to be seen again. When he saw me, he pushed through all the guys and girls and dragged me out to the balcony. You little troublemaker, how dare you party it up here? Do you know it's total chaos back home? What's that got to do with me? Hua grabbed my ear and yelled, you're the one who started it all. My eardrum was throbbing, rubbing my ear while listening to Hua ramble. Hua said shortly after the recognition banquet, the Zheng and Yu families went to war. Brother Shu Yu got caught in the crossfire, not only went bankrupt, but old enemies came after him. Only had time to send Hua overseas before disappearing himself. So how's their fight going now? He rolled her eyes. Zheng Lanting got in a car accident and became a vegetable. Yu Zhangye won big, even gave his dad overseas a stroke from anger. Now he's got promotion, fortune, and a dead wife, living his best life. Hua looked me up and down meanly. Oh, you're not dead? Then hurry up and get back home. Tell your meal ticket to stop going crazy and give me brother Shu Yu back. I felt like something was off. If Yu Zhangye could interfere with overseas affairs, wouldn't his mom helping me escape be easily exposed? That cold woman could watch her own son get abused by the main wife without batting an eye. Would she really have the loyalty to cover for me? Can you please not rat me out? Hua said irritably, if you turn yourself in, I won't report you. But I deleted all his contact info. Hua was speechless, scrolled through her phone, read me a string of numbers. Any other questions? Also, Hua's long nails clicked away typing on the screen. What else? Stop dragging it out. Hurry up, making herself look busy. I knew this was her way of dealing with nerves. I confirmed my suspicion. How'd you get Yu Zhangye's private number? He sent you to find me, didn't he? There was a moment of silence in the air. Well, can't fool you anymore. Hua shrugged. Actually, after I warned you someone was gonna beat you up, the prince came after me for tipping you off. Thinking about it, that is pretty scary. But he didn't use his money to hurt you, right? What do you mean he didn't? He'd rather kill 1,000 innocents than let one guilty person escape, almost turn me into a eunuch. That's the root of my fear of these awful rich people. With enough money, he can arrange for anyone to come into my life, arrange for anything to happen. Like Truman, his whole world was full of actors, like how Chen Yi was step by step lured into gambling addiction and debt, walking right into Zheng Lanting's trap. 唉声叹气, I knew I was overthinking again and sighed. Honey, you're really such a scaredy cat. He's already shown so much restraint. Of course I know he showed restraint. If he hadn't, I probably would have been dragged back months ago. Sorry, but I really can't accept it. Maybe it'll get better in a few years. How long is a few years? Suddenly a low, cold voice came from the phone. I didn't realize I dialed Yu Zhengye's number. I jumped. I'm not sure either. I could almost picture Yu Zhengye rubbing his temples on the other end, looking totally helpless. Then I'll wait until you figured it out to tell me. What if it takes me 10 or 8 years to figure it out? Yu Zhengye laughed. I'm 27 now. You want to miss my 28th, 29th, all the way to 30 xiu. Even if I turned into old broccoli, I'm not that good at fighting aging. I thought about it. That would be a real shame. Every extra day, looking at Yu Zhengye's face would be pure profit. 1 year then, I said quietly. Yu Zhengye just laughed. Okay. I'll wait for you. Actually, it only took me 3 months to decide to come back. Because after I told Chen Yi that Zheng Lanting was in a vegetative state, he was so happy he refused to stay abroad any longer. I'm gonna bribe his nurses to torture him, tell him scary stories in his ear every day to scare him to death. I said casually, what if he gets scared awake? Won't you be screwed again? Chen Yi thought about it. By then he'd have no power or influence, and I'd be a rich and, law, why would I be scared of him? I couldn't comment on Chen Yi's eager attitude. Could only respect his fate and choices. So Chen Yi and I came back home. Yu Zhengye picked us up at the airport. He'd gotten thinner after a year, his face more chiseled, devastatingly handsome. When he saw me, not caring how many people were around, he pulled me into a long kiss. He even had a lychee candy in his mouth, making that candy part of our little game. I could barely breathe. My mouth full of sweet lychee flavor, face burning red as I pushed him away. 我这又 randomly 记幸福. Yu Zhengye was like a lazy lion. Don't people greet with kisses overseas? Not like that they don't. Oh, I don't know how. So teach me. The old guy seemed to have forgotten all about his Ivy League study, abroad experience. I rolled my eyes and walked past him quickly, not wanting to embarrass myself at the airport. After a few steps, my hand was caught. Cool fingers slipped between mine like little fish, gripping tight. I squeezed his hand back,